This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Well, all right, everybody, welcome to the afternoon show. It's your boy J-Make11 with Tony Gonzalez, and Gonzo is on the mend, and hopefully within either today or tomorrow, the next couple of days when he gets all the way there, he will be back and hanging out with us. Until then, me and Tony are going to continue to hold down the show. Lots of stuff going on in the world of sports, to be honest with you, Tony. Obviously, though, there are some sad stuff, and I know we'll get to that here in just a second.
Yes, definitely. Unfortunately, yeah, in the NFL. But yeah, let's jump into some college football real quick. We got a few games here I thought we'd preview. First game I got up is IU at Penn State. Of course, this was a lot of people had a star on this to be a big game. Of course, Penn State, after losing to Oregon, I think their second or third game of the season at Penn State in overtime, it fell apart. It's crazy to think what would have happened if Penn State would have won that game. Would things have been completely different? I mean, would they still be undefeated or only one loss right now? Would that coach still be there? You know, it's kind of crazy that one game, you know, just kind of blew everything up.
Yeah, I mean, we had a similar game like that. Obviously, the Florida game for Texas is what took us out of the rankings altogether.
Yep.
You know, I mean, as a matter of fact, I think when we lost to Ohio, that dropped us from first place to, I think, 11th. And then when we lost to Florida, that just put us down to like 20. No, it actually knocked us out of the rankings all the way around. And then we had to climb back into the rankings. So, yeah, no, you know, and again, you know, Tony, strictest schedule, all those things play a part of it, right? So I don't know. I didn't look at Penn State's full schedule, but you know, that strictest schedule, if you lose those key games, especially to anything that's in the Big Ten, it's difficult. It's difficult to climb back in.
Yeah, and then the quarterback got hurt, and that's changed things. Now, Penn State did play Ohio State good for about a half last week. It was a close game for a while, and then it just kind of fell apart. And having after normal quarterback, I just don't think Penn State has enough to stay with IU. I mean, I think it could be close for a while, but I think eventually IU will wear them down and beat them, you know, by maybe 14, 20 points. But Penn State still got a lot of talent on that team. They still got, I mean, they got a lot of talent on that team, but without their quarterback and an interim coach, I mean. It is at Penn State, so I guess you never know. And IU has trouble in the past; has had trouble beating a Penn State team. So it could be an interesting game, but I think IU comes out the victor. Jay?
Yeah. So Penn State, Iowa State. I'm yeah, like you said, especially with the quarterback issue. I think Penn State is just done for the year. Honestly, in my opinion. I think they're living to fight another day. So because of that reason, I'm going Iowa State on that. And I'm not a big Iowa State fan, but
it's IU.
Or I'm sorry. Oh, apologize. For some reason, my brain, I guess I heard you say, I thought you were saying Iowa. I'm sorry. No. Now, since we're talking Indiana, yeah, that's a no-brainer. That's no brainer. As a matter of fact, if anything, if I'm looking at Indiana, I'm thinking to myself, damn. I'm not going to play my starters. I got to play my starters because I got to keep them in the rhythm. They have to have playing time to stay in the rhythm. I think for me, I'm thinking to myself, you know, if the game is going well and in hand, how long do I leave my starters in so I don't risk injury? You know, do I go a half? And if I've got a comfortable lead in the half, do I pull them and put my second strings in, you know?
Yeah, last week when they got well ahead and got into the fourth quarter, they IU running the backup quarterback and a lot of backup running backs and receivers and players. So yeah, if they get well ahead and get to that fourth quarter, they have been resting players about every game once things gets out of hand. So that'll be interesting there. Next up, we got number 5 Georgia at Mississippi State. I think Georgia is at Mississippi State, but I think Georgia's just way too strong. I know Mississippi State give Texas a good game. Maybe should have even beat them, but I think Georgia's just going to be too much for them. So I think Georgia beats them by at least 2 touchdowns, maybe more, maybe 3. Jay?
Yeah, I think when Mississippi State got a hold of Texas, I think we were in that process of turning the team around with the defense and Arch Manning at quarterback. But you're right. I mean, in all honesty, I'm surprised we pulled that out. I really thought we were going to lose that game to Mississippi State. That's how good they played us. But Georgia, on the other hand, Georgia's a lot further, or is further along than what we were when we played Mississippi State. But Georgia's always had a good team. Man, they've had a good team forever, it seems like now. For as long as I've known them anyway. Yeah. But I'm taking Georgia on this. I don't think it's even close, man. I mean, Mississippi State had a good game against Texas. I think that was their bowl game, if you want to call it. But no, Georgia's going to handle them, and they're going to handle them well. I wouldn't even be concerned about that.
The next 3 games we're going to cover should be really good games. But this would probably, on paper, the game of the week. Number 7, BYU.
Yeah.
At number 8, Texas Tech. Oh, man. Texas Tech was impressed with early. They had that one bad outing, but at Texas Tech, they're going to be fired up. This is a playoff game, a must win for them for sure. Now, because they have 1 loss. BYU, I don't think has any losses. I'm going with Texas Tech here. I think Texas Tech wins by at least a touchdown. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, literally. I mean, you got number 7 versus number 8. I understand BYU is undefeated, but let's be honest, Tony. I know we've already had this conversation about BYU and the fact that they really have not played anybody truly. So I would tell you, I think this Texas Tech team is probably going to be the first legitimate test for BYU to see if this team is really legit or if they're just riding on the soft coattails of an easy schedule. I think. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I think if BYU takes out Texas Tech, then now we can say, okay, this team is a legit playoff team. How far they go, now that's another story. But to give this team or to give BYU credibility for being at the number 7 spot, they have to beat Texas Tech. Yeah. And same thing for Texas Tech. If Texas Tech wants to be considered taken seriously as well, then they have to beat the BYUs and continue to push up the charts. So it's a credibility game, but I think this is more of a credibility game for BYU than it is Texas Tech.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing is if BYU gets 1 loss with their conference and everything, if they win out, I think they still could have a chance to make the playoffs. If Texas Tech gets a 2nd loss, I think they're done. So it's a must win for Texas Tech. Now, Texas Tech, the question mark for me is and not a big question mark, but their defense had played really well at times, but it did fall apart against Arizona State. BYU's got a good offense. So I think it's going to be, can Texas Tech's defense stay with BYU's offense? I think Texas Tech can score points on BYU, but can Texas Tech hold BYU's offense down a little bit enough for them to win the game? I'm planning on watching this game. I'm kind of excited to see these 2 teams play. I haven't seen BYU play this year. I've seen Texas Tech a couple of times, so it should be a good one.
One more thing real quick. When you look at BYU, another issue for me with BYU is in this soft schedule that they've played, if you go back to, I would say October 3rd, and you really go back even to, no, I didn't even go back to September 27th. September 27th is when they played Colorado. And you all know how bad Colorado is. Nobody takes Colorado seriously, but yet they only got them by 3, and then you go on to West Virginia, and they get West Virginia 38-24, which is a legit win. But then you go, I guess you look at Arizona but Arizona takes them to double overtime to get that win. And then the one ranked team that they do play in Utah, they only get them by 3. So I guess, and then you got Indiana State. Now they beat Indiana State pretty good, 41-27. But and then you come to Texas Tech, and then after that you have TCU, Cincinnati, and UCF. So like I said, I mean, this team has not really, truthfully, in my opinion, be impressive to be at number 7, but they are number 7, and this is the game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're too high at number 7, in my opinion, but I guess because you're undefeated. But like I said, they've got some tougher games coming on. I think Texas Tech beats them. I really do. That's Texas Tech's defense falls down. But I think Texas Tech beats them by at least a touchdown. I really do. Next game up, this could have been a really good game, but again, with Missouri's quarterback situation, I don't know. But we got number 3 Texas A&M at Missouri against number 22 Missouri. I like Texas A&M. I would feel if Missouri still had even their second string quarterback, because he played most of the season. The first string quarterback got hurt first game of the year, and Missouri still played well with their second string. But going down to the third string, I just don't think they'll have enough to handle Texas A&M, even though Missouri's at home. I like Texas A&M by at least I'm gonna say by touchdown, maybe 10 points. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I know. Me and you've had this conversation about this game already, but I totally agree that I didn't realize when we had the initial conversation the first time that they were down to their third string quarterback. If Missouri had their first string quarterback in this, I would say that Missouri stands a good chance to beat A&M because they had played the season pretty damn tough. They were playing really, really well. But now you're down to the third string. And usually when you get to the third string, that's usually a developing guy, right? I mean, you're not talking second. Now you're talking third. You're talking about a guy who's probably a freshman, right? Sitting there at the bottom, trying to work his way up the grid. So that can go one or two ways. They can get beat pretty good by A&M through the inexperience of their quarterback. Or the quarterback, because there's not a lot of tape on him, they don't know a lot about him, could come out and have the game of his life and propel them. So I don't know what we're going to get, but if I was a betting man, I'm going to ride the safe odds on this and say that A&M walked away with the win.
Yeah, I think if Missouri has a chance, it's going to be on their defense, and it's going to have to be a lower scoring game. I just don't think Missouri can score enough points with a third string quarterback to be able to handle Texas A&M.
Lots of run.
One thing that was cool, I want to bring up real quick before we move on. I got to see Texas A&M coach. I didn't even know who this guy is. Eco, whatever his name is, for Texas Tech was on Pat McAfee today. And I tell you what, he was a good interview. And I didn't realize Texas A&M has done some things this year that they hadn't done in years. They beat LSU at LSU, and that is the first time since like 1994 or something like that. So I mean, they're doing things. And Jay, they claim that on Friday nights before their home games, they have what they call a scream session. Sounds kind of like a pep rally type thing. They said more people show up for that than show up for a lot of people's football games. Just on Friday night before the game.
It used to be at A&M. A&M was always known for their bonfires. That's what they were always been known for. And then they had a bonfire one year. They got away from them. I'm sure we all remember that. And then I don't know if they still do that bonfire anymore. I know they kind of stopped it for a while. I don't know if they resumed it. But A&M has some really cool traditions at that school. They always have had some cool traditions at that school. The only thing I would tell you, I don't get too hyped up on the LSU thing, only because of the fact that LSU is in a complete disarray right now.
Yeah.
If this was LSU from last year or any of the years with Jaden Daniels or any of those other LSU teams, I would put a lot of credibility behind it. But we all know that LSU is so bad right now. It's ridiculous.
That's true. That's true. Let's move on to my next game. It should be a good one. Number 9, Oregon at number 20, Iowa. Iowa is a sneaky good team. They're the only team that played IU really, really tough. And what I mean by that, their defensive and offensive line stood up to IU. Actually, I'll be honest with you, their defensive line smacked IU's offensive line around a little bit. Iowa was in that game. Iowa just don't have a quarterback that can score enough points to be an elite team. If they can get that figured out, their defense is an elite defense. Their defense is one of the better defenses in college football. I'm going to say maybe a top 5 defense. Of course, that can change sometimes. If your offense can't do anything, your defense stays on the field all the time. You might give up some points that you normally won. But this is going to be an interesting test for Oregon, as at Iowa. I just don't know if Iowa could score enough points to beat Oregon. But man, I wouldn't be shocked if Iowa beat Oregon. I'm not going to predict that. I'm going to go with Oregon and their offense to squeak it out. But I would not be shocked if Iowa pulled the upset off because it is at Iowa, and that's not an easy place to play. But I will take Oregon, but I'm going to say by a touchdown or less. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, it's funny. Iowa, I think Indiana can actually say that they own Iowa because Indiana State and Indiana University both beat them. Now, close games. Both games were one possession wins. I think Indiana State got them by 3, and I think you guys got them by 5.
It was Iowa State, not Indiana State.
Oh, is that I never know that. Is that
Yeah,
Iowa State?
Iowa State beat Iowa early in the year. By field goal.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't, Tony. No offense, man, but I ain't really paid too much attention to Indiana or Iowa or any of them in football. Sometimes when I see them little insignias or their logos, whatever, I get them confused. So I apologize. But either way, I don't care. Iowa still sucks. I'm going to roll with who's Iowa playing again?
Oregon.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with Oregon. And the reason why I'm going to roll with Oregon on this is because Oregon can't afford to lose this game.
No.
I think if Oregon loses this game, Tony, they got one loss. I think they'll stay in the rankings, but they're going to be out of the playoffs if they lose this game because they don't have any other games. I take that back. I think they have so they play Iowa, and then they play Oregon plays Iowa, Minnesota, USC, Washington. Now, USC is 19 and Washington is 23, but I think they have to win this game. If they lose this game, it's going to drop them out of playoffs, and there's not a team one that they're playing that can get them back into the playoffs, so they don't have high enough rankings to move up.
Yeah, I think they could have a slight chance, but it wouldn't be good. I wouldn't count on that. If they lose this game, even if they win out, I wouldn't. I mean, they could be the first team out. You know what I mean? If out of the playoffs, I mean, I think it could get close. But I think they've got to win this game. I really do.
And Oregon just moved over to the Big Ten, correct?
Yep.
A couple years ago.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if they lose this game here, I don't think they can get into the Big Ten championship game. And I just don't think if they lose this,
they don't get into the Big Ten championship game. I think they still would have a slight shot to get into the playoffs without the Big Ten championship. But I wouldn't. I think they've got to win. I think they've got to win out. I wouldn't want to take that chance of having a second loss. If they have a second loss, it's going to be borderline whether they get in because they will have. I mean, Minnesota is 5-3, decent team. They're decent. They're not great. Of course, you got like you said, I believe USC, which is ranked, and Washington, which is ranked. Washington's a pretty good team. Not a great team, but they're above average. Both those teams are above average. They're top 25 teams, but they're lower 25. They're not top 15. So if you lost and you won those games, let's say Texas loses the next 2, that knocks Texas out. So I mean, there's still a chance, but again, I wouldn't say it was a good chance.
We were talking about Minnesota before, and then Big Lee, I'm gonna get you on this, but just real quick, since we're talking about them playing Minnesota, the only good thing I've ever known that came out of the Golden Gophers was that TV show Coach.
Yeah, it was a good show.
That's the only good thing I've ever known that came out of that damn program. Big Lee, what do you think about this game, man, in Iowa and Oregon?
So I think Oregon wins. I don't think Iowa has enough offense to be able to run with the big boys in that way,
They've got the defense. They've got the defense.
If Iowa could ever figure out their offense, man, they would be legit.
Oh yeah.
That's a problem that's always been that way,
Yep.
So,
it has been for a long time. Next game, guys, is LSU at number 4 Alabama. I would give LSU a chance if it was at LSU. I'd give them a shot. I give no shot at Alabama unless Alabama just plays a bad game like they did against South Carolina. Now, if they do that, then it could be a ball game. But I expect Alabama to beat them by at least 10. If they don't beat them by at least 10, but it is a rivalry game. LSU and Alabama is a big rivalry game, so you got to take that in consideration. But I think Alabama's got too much going on for LSU right now. What do you think, Jay?
I just think that, like I said a minute ago, when we were talking about LSU and we were talking about A&M topic, I just think that team is in a disarray. The one thing I will give them is at least there's a little bit more clarity now at the athletic director. Now he got that interim tag removed, so now he will move forward as their official athletic director. Right now they have an interim coach in there that's not going to be the guy that gets the job done going against Dabar. I think Alabama is going to come in, and unfortunately they're going to roll the hell out of that Tide all over Last State University and them Tigers, and I think they're going to put them on the chopping block. So now I think Alabama is just too much for a team that is in, honestly, a coaching disarray right now.
That's true.
They had the leadership guiding them, the right leadership guiding them against an Alabama.
Yeah. Big Lynn, what do you think?
It's going to be Roll Tide left, Roll Tide right, all the way to LSU in that way. So,
okay. And the last game I had down was Auburn at number 16, Vandy. I don't think Auburn has enough for Vandy at Vandy. I think Vandy is a team that still has an outside chance to make the playoffs. I think they've got to win out, but they're one of those teams that if Texas falls or another team falls, they could sneak back in there. So, but Vandy has to win out. So I think Vandy has – Auburn's a decent team. I wouldn't say they were a great team, but they're decent. But I think Vandy wins this game by at least a touchdown. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, no. I would probably just echo your sentiments. Vanderbilt, when Texas played Vandy, I thought Vanderbilt was a good squad. Obviously, Texas benefited a lot off of that. But I think Vanderbilt's just way too much for Auburn. I think Auburn has a lot more to do in terms of growth. Auburn the War Eagles have just not been able to do battle well enough for a while. So I think Vandy's going to go in there and smoke them.
And Big Lynn, what do you think?
Vanderbilt, they're going to blow the hell out of their ass. Yeah. It's going to look like that scene from Great Outdoors where the bear gets his ass blown off.
I've seen Auburn keep track of the scores, and I've seen them be in a lot of ball games. But it seems like by the end of the game, they fall out of it. They just don't have enough to really stay with the big dogs. So, I think Vandy's got them.
And let's give some props to Pavia. I mean, honestly, Pavia, I think is how you say his name, Pavia. Yeah. I like this kid. When I watched him go against Texas, I felt like he was fearless. I felt like he had no problems. If he had to scramble and try to get some yards, he's a very tough kid. Very tough kid. And I think that's one of the things I like about Vandy is I like the toughness of their quarterback. And let's be honest, the dude's at like almost 2,100 yards, and Arnold for Auburn is just barely getting to scratch the surface of 13. So clearly, Auburn is much more of a run game. So if Auburn's going to have a shot against Vanderbilt, they're going to have to play tough D, put pressure on Pavia, force him out of the pocket as much as possible, and then really run the hell out of that ball.
I agree 100%. Unfortunately, guys, we got some sad news in the NFL. I'm going to let Jake go into it, but it was a Dallas Cowboy. Unfortunately, a young guy, I think 23, 24 years old, Marshawn Nealon. He's a defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys. And Jay, I'll turn it over to you on this subject.
All right. By the way, good to see you, Chris. It's good to see that happy face. Yeah, man. Marshawn Nealon, 24 years old. The only thing we know is some slight details. We don't know why he was in a police chase, but the police were suing him. The Department of Public Safety was pursuing him for a good little bit at about 10:30, 10:45 last night. And then he wound up crashing. He's from Plano. But he wound up, which is about an hour and a half. No, it's about an hour and 15 west of Dallas. But Frisco police was chasing him. Texas Department of Public Safety was chasing him. And then that was about 10:30 last night. And then they lost him. And then he crashed his vehicle. And then once he crashed his vehicle, he fled on foot. And they lost him. And then at about 1:31 this morning, they found him deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And that's really about all the details that are known at this point. Nobody knows why he was fleeing the scene. And they did say that before the crash that he was talking about suicidal ideations. So he was hinting that this was going to happen. So I don't know what was going on in Marshawn Nealon's mind. Again, 24-year-old kid. I don't know what kind of problems he was facing to give him suicidal ideations, running from the law and things of that nature. Who knows? We're not going to know that, at least not for right now. But as of right now, that's all that's really known on the case. But again, the takeaway for me is it's just sad to see a young man, 24 years old, who basically had everything in life going for him, you know, and then this is how his life tragically comes to an end. It sucks.
Yeah, it does. Prayers go out to his family, and I know I seen where they said he had a girlfriend, and prayers go out to all his friends and family. A very unfortunate thing. Chris or Glenn, you guys got anything to say on this? And not, we'll move on.
Prayers to the family.
Yeah. Since Chris come in, I'm gonna let him give some thoughts on a couple of college games, and then I was gonna let him also give his thoughts on the NFL trade deadline before we went to Thursday night football. Chris, couple of games. I think of course IU plays Penn State. I mean, I think you feel pretty confident in IU, but a couple of games I did want to ask you about. The first one is number 7 BYU at number 8 Texas Tech. What's your thoughts on that one? Who do you think is going to win this one?
I think it's going to be a good game, but I honestly think Texas Tech is going to beat BYU.
Yeah.
I think Tech's defense is going to be able to slow BYU's offense down and not let BYU be able to control the clock. So, yeah, I like Texas Tech quite a bit in that game, really.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the way I went. And then also number 9, Oregon at number 20, Iowa. Being at Iowa, I think Iowa's got a shot. I went with Oregon, but I would not be shocked if Iowa could upset them. I just don't know if they can score enough points. So your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this one I think is going to be a one-possession game. I agree with you. I think Iowa has a shot, but it's just hard for me to pick Iowa because of their offensive struggles. But being in Iowa and weather is going to play a factor. It's going to be about 35, 40 degrees with a pretty good wind.
Yeah.
So that can help slow the offenses up some too. But I think Oregon pulls it out just because like I said, I can't bet on Iowa's offense. But I do think it's going to be I think it's probably going to be a field goal game.
Okay. And then one other game I was going to ask you about, number 3 Texas A&M and number 22 Missouri. It is at Missouri. I think Missouri's down to the third string quarterback. I think Texas A&M just has too much for Missouri because of that. What do you think?
Yeah, if Missouri was full strength and had their quarterback, I would probably take Missouri in this game. But with not having their quarterback, I have to go with Texas A&M.
Okay. And I did want to get your thoughts on the NFL trade deadline. It happened a couple of days ago. First, your thoughts on what the Colts did. Then secondly, how you feel about what the Jets did and how you feel about what Dallas did. So the floor is yours.
Well, I loved what the Colts did. I know some people think we gave up too much, but that all depends on how much do you put on talent or develop talent, and how much do you put on talent that you have to develop. And a lot of times you get talent you have to develop, you don't know what it's going to turn into. So to me, if you pay a little more to get a guy that's already proven and and you know what you're getting, it's worth the risk. We done it with DeForest Buckner a few years ago. It worked. It's worked out for us. Those 2 draft picks, everybody's making a big deal out of 2 first-round picks. If things go like you plan on them going, then we're going to basically be second-round picks because they're going to be between 27 and 32 of the first round. If things go like you plan. Now, if something happens and you finish last, then the pick is worth a little bit more. But I mean, we're 7-2. Everything goes good. That pick next year is going to be between 27 and 32. So it's basically a second-round pick.
Yeah.
So no, I love what the Colts did. I had told you if they'd done anything, we needed to either get a corner or another pass rusher. They went with the back end. He fits perfect for what Lou Anarumo likes to do. Lou Anarumo wants to play man, so he can use his disguise his blitz and stuff up front. And now when Chadarius Ward gets back, you have Ward on one side, Sauce Gardner on the other side, and you have Mooney. Like we're going to have one of the best secondaries in the AFC. So yeah, I really like what the Colts did. I think what the Jets are doing was stupid. Yeah, you got a bunch of draft picks now, but this is the same thing you done 4 years ago, and you traded away the guys that you got 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago that you just paid in July. You just gave Sauce Gardner all this money. It wasn't like gave him the money a year ago. They gave him the money in July, right before the season started. They signed him to that big deal. So you're trading away the pieces that you should be building around to go try to find another Sauce Gardner or another Quinnen Williams. It just don't make no sense to me. If you want to start over, get rid of your veteran players and bring in young players that you think are going to fit your system and build around a Quinnen Williams and a Sauce Gardner. You got to build around them guys till you find your quarterback. I mean, and that's one thing that Ballard has done good. Everybody always wants to shit on Ballard. Oh, he won't ever make a trade. He won't ever do this.
We finally did it.
What did he do? We didn't have a quarterback. What did he do? He built up all the other positions.
Yep.
Offensive lines build up. Defense. We don't have the best defense in the world, but we got a top 15 defense. I mean, we got a good defense. Offense. We got weapons on the outside. You find your quarterback and you get you a tight end. And look what's happening. So you got to build the team, and these teams are just I think the Jets are just too impatient. They're not going. There's a lot of teams that get impatient and just blow things up to blow it up.
Yeah,
and, that just sets you back.
My thing with the Ballard and people complaining about giving up too much is those are probably the same people that were saying that Ballard wouldn't do it enough. And now he's doing something, they still want to be upset about it and shit,
Yeah.
Which I love the how Chris Ballard went out there and got the guys, So
yeah, I like it. They're being aggressive.
Absolutely.
You think you have a shot? Go all in, be aggressive, and make a move. And they were calling people the Colts were calling all different teams looking for a defensive pass rusher or a corner, seeing what they could find that was available, and they ended up getting Sauce.
This is why I look at this situation. I look at the Colts as a team that is there. They just need to tweak one or two little spots, and then they're really there. And that's what you're doing at this point. You're tweaking spots to perfect what you're putting on the field. And let me tell you something. When it comes to draft picks, they're possibles. They may or may not pan. We've seen first round picks. Take Macy Smith, for the Cowboys. Didn't pan out. Trade him a lot. So possibles. Picks are possibles. Sauce Gardner is a shutdown corner. Now he is flashy. He reminds me of a Deion Sanders, in that they were both flashy, but they also are both shutdown corners. They are both the corners that can shut down an entire section of the field. And when you got that kind of guy, you gonna tell me two first round picks ain't worth that? Hell, I wanted him. And I'm Big Glenn. I'm gonna speak to you for a minute. I think I can. I think you agree with me on this.
Yes,
that should have gone after Sauce Gardner. They should have took those 2 first round picks that we got from Parsons, and they should have given for Sauce Gardner and brought his ass in and make a shutdown corner, because at least you got one side of the field you ain't got to worry about for the most part.
Yep.
And then work on the other. I mean, that's what we should have done. So I think the Colts were the winners. I think Sauce Gardner was the winner. I think the Cowboys were the losers. And I think the Jets are in the middle of the road. And what I mean by that is they did a great job collecting picks. But to Gonzo's and everybody else's points, they don't know what to do with the damn picks. So they won because they got the picks, but they lost because they don't know what to do with the damn picks.
Yeah, I said this in the group chat the other day. They might as well just throw the whole damn team away at this point.
Yeah.
Chris, your thoughts on Dallas?
I like what Dallas done. I think getting Quinnen Williams is going to be big for them. That really solidifies their defensive line, especially when everybody gets healthy. Is it going to make them a top 10 defense this year? Probably not. But I do think it's a good pick for their future and building that team and getting that defense back on track. So yeah, I like what they've done, and getting Logan Wilson wasn't a bad pickup either. He can play some ball. He's just been stuck on a bad team.
Yeah, and that's the same thing for Williams. I mean, Williams' play went down the last year or so But again, you're on the Jets. It's a disarray. Getting back somewhere else with some
And he's
leadership and stuff. Yeah, and he's young. Like you said, he's young, but he's a 3-time Pro Bowler. I mean, he's a damn good player. I mean, I think they've got some building blocks there. Now it just depends what they do next year. Again, I don't think this deal helps them this year.
And here's the and Dallas and Jay and Glenn, you correct me if I'm wrong because you guys are Cowboys fans. But I think Dallas Cowboy fans would look at that trade a lot different if the Micah Parsons thing hadn't happened just 2 months ago. Okay, if that was out of the equation and Dallas done this at the trade deadline, the Dallas fans would be ecstatic that Jerry Jones went and made a move. But since the Parsons thing just happened this season,
I agree.
I think that's why a lot of people are hating on this so much.
Yeah.
Let me explain my position on why I say Dallas lost. You guys, you're right. You're not wrong in what you said about Nealon and Logan. Okay, I mean not Nealon. Excuse me. About Williams and Logan. I agree. I understand what you're saying, and you're right. We would look at it differently because you got to think because it's a different situation. If we had Micah Parsons, that's our edge. That's our pass rush. That's our identity. So now you're adding pieces that complement Parsons being there. But Parsons isn't there anymore. Yeah. So those complementary pieces don't have the effect on the defense as much as if we would have got Sauce Gardner. If we would have had Sauce Gardner, that would have been a guy that can, he would have had more impact on that team. Because that would have been at least a little bit of secondary help versus what we have.
So what you're saying, Jay, is it should have been you that got, or it should have been us in that way that we got Sauce Gardner.
I just feel like if you lose a big piece that is like Parsons, that is your team, then you at least need to get an equally big piece that can have the same effect or close to the same effect. So you know what I'm saying? Like Williams is great for in the future. But he doesn't do anything for us really right now. He doesn't move the needle for us right now. You get a Sauce Gardner in our secondary, and then the needle will move a little bit because now you've got a shutdown corner, and now you can start, doubling up on some other people. So it's just different situations. That's why I think Dallas fans would feel differently because they're two different situations.
Yeah, I think Dallas is fine offensively. I think what they got to look for in the future is they got to find a pass rusher, and there's going to be some guys available. I mean, that guy from Cincinnati. I mean, I don't think he's going to be there after this year. I think he'll be gone. I mean, that could be a guy in free agency that you could go after. And I mean, people are going to,
He's going to be a Colt.
Well, okay. I hope you're right.
There you
go.
Yes.
But anyway, I mean, I think Dallas or the owner had lost faith in Parsons. He was upset. It wasn't going to work. So you got to forget about that now. But if you can find a pass rusher, and then you also got to find some whether you in the draft or whatever, you got to find some good defensive backs. And if you get that defense straightened out, Dallas has a good enough offense to play with the teams in the league if they can build up that defense. So it's going to be interesting. I think Dallas, like I said, it just ain't going to help them that much this year. But I think it is a right step in the future for them. But I understand Dallas fans being possibly upset.
Dallas's problem is they're projected to be $78 million over salary cap.
Okay.
Over next year's salary cap already. So
Jerry.
They don't have a whole lot of options to make moves because they're going to have to get under the salary cap. I mean,
that's why, like, if you look at Dallas, they can't. They're not going to be big movers and shakers at free agency, but where they can improve that team is in the draft, and that's what Dallas has to focus on is this draft. And if I'm Dallas, the number one thing I'm trying to do is get a damn edge rusher.
Yep.
Yeah, you think Jerry? I was gonna say, you think Jerry gonna take a pay hit? Hell no, he ain't.
I'd go after that pass rusher first round, and then probably my second, third, fourth, fifth round is going to be defensive backs. It's going to be that back end.
Yeah. That way, if you're doing second through fifth with just nothing but cornerbacks, at least one or two of them hopefully will pan out to be solid. And then you can really start talking about a defense because you already got your run taken care of with Williams and Clark, and then hopefully, like you guys are telling me, I don't know much about Logan Wilson. I'm gonna take what you say. So you get Logan Wilson, and then we get Overshawn back from injury. You can start building that defense. But yeah, we're gonna have to really. I would say if I'm Jerry, I'm saying, look, Jerry, you got 2 first rounders. You got the one from Green Bay, and then you got your own. So you got 2 first round selections, and then you got. I mean, I'm going straight defense, Tony. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. I'm going straight defense the whole draft.
Yeah, I don't disagree with it. Okay, guys, let's move on to some Thursday night football. We'll be honest, I'm not real excited about this game. It is a rivalry game, but we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. I'm not seeing the Raiders have been in disarray most of the season. It is a rivalry game, like I said, so it could end up being good. But I think the Broncos can struggle on offense sometimes. But I think the Broncos win by at least 10 to 13 points. Jay, what do you think about this one?
Yeah. Who the Raiders playing again?
Raiders are at Denver Broncos.
Oh, that's right. That's right. This is our Thursday night game. I'm sorry, my brain goes left. I actually wanted to ask you guys this question. Okay, Gonzo. Yeah, just keep your ass on mute. Damn, man. I missed you, Gonzo. I really did. I really meant that when I said you have been missed, because I have not had anybody in my ass for a while now, and it's good to be back, brother.
Yeah, Jay, you're fucking out right now, man. So.
Well, I tell you what, man. What am I not? My whole life is based on that. I mean, I was born that way, crying out loud. But no. Look. Here's the deal. Number one, Denver's going to get this win. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. Denver's going to get the win. My question is,
how many points?
Fantasy. In terms of this game, I'm going to ask you guys this: what do you guys think of J.K. Dobbins? If you had to play J.K. Dobbins or Metcalf, who would you put it? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Denver's gonna win this game. It's not gonna be Raiders they are where they are. But I gotta play either J.K. Dobbins or I gotta play Metcalf. And I have not been, I'm gonna go with J.K. Dobbins. Metcalf's been so hit and miss lately. Never mind. Don't worry about that question. I apologize. This is my brain. Look, it's not my damn fault, Gonzo. I was born in an army hospital, and they had forceps, and they squeezed the shit out of my brain. What do you expect?
Had trouble getting that big head out of that cooter, huh?
It was big. It was a big head. It was a big head. No, I guess to answer your question short and sweet, and then Gonzo can go. Look, Denver's going to take this. They are the top of their division, and Vegas is at the bottom, and there's a reason for that. Vegas is struggling to find their identity as well, I believe. And they're rebuilding. And I think right now it shows.
Okay, Chris, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think either of these teams are any good. The Raiders are terrible, and the Colts haven't beat nobody because we're no good. And so that means the Broncos are a terrible team too. So, no, seriously, I think the Broncos win this game by 2 scores. Broncos defense is going to cause Geno Smith trouble on the with the Raiders offense, and then the Broncos offense, Bo Nix over the last couple of weeks has started playing a lot more consistent than what he was at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I expect being in Denver, I expect they have the spread at 8.5. And I think the Broncos cover that. I think they win probably by I'm gonna say 2 touchdowns.
Big Glenn.
This looks like one of those games where it's 35-10, and I'm taking the Broncos, obviously.
Okay. All right, guys, let's go on the hot seat. My first hot seat question. This is for college football. If you had to bet on a team right now between these 2 teams, who would you bet to win? Ohio State or IU? Jay, if you had to make a bet, who you betting on? Are you betting on Ohio State or you betting on IU?
Yeah, this is a tough one because and I told you this the other day when we were talking about the rankings, and I felt like if you put IU at number 1 and Ohio at 2 right now, I wouldn't be mad at it. I think they 1 and 2. Those teams are just so good right now, what they're doing. The only reason I'm giving a slight edge to Ohio is because of John Daly, and John Daly is just an amazing coach. What he's done with
That's
that
the
Ohio
golfer. Oh, Jay.
John. I know I said John Daly. John, whatever his name is. Damn it.
His name is Ryan Day.
Yeah, Ryan Day. That's what I said. Daly.
No. Hold up.
Hey, you had the D right.
Hey, I told you I was squeezed with forceps.
I mean,
Was that not the disclaimer?
I
Jay
know-
was squeezed with forceps, okay?
I know
down.
we're Cowboys fans, but
Calm down. I have. Come on.
What the hell?
No,
Wait a minute. What the hell did you smoke before the show?
I
know.
know.
Hey,
Well, if you did smoke before the show, you need to start smoking before the show because you're everywhere today.
yeah. I tell you what, man. I know we're Cowboys fans, but as far as the day's concerned, we gotta take the L out of our mouth in that way, you know.
Oh, there's a lot of things we got to take out of the mouth, and then insert it back into Gonzo's. But that's besides the point. No. Okay, I'm just saying that I can't stop laughing now. Okay, so no, let's get back. Let's focus. So Day, Ryan Day is. I think he's a great coach. Obviously, Ohio is coming off. They're the champions. They're the ones who got to unseat. And Indiana has got Signetti, and Signetti has off that Nick Saban tree has done a great job with Indiana. I mean, putting Indiana in a great position. But right now, I'm rolling with Ohio. They have shown that they are still the champions until somebody takes them out. So I'm going to give a slight edge to them, because over IU. But it ain't by much. Just a little bit of an edge.
I'll go next. If they meet, and you may not know this, James, so this could change your mind. Maybe not. But if they meet this year, more than likely, it's going to be in the Big Ten championship. And that Big Ten championship game is in Indianapolis. It'll be where the Colts play. So IU might have a slight home field advantage. Maybe. I mean, it's not their home field, but there'll be a lot of Ohio State people there. So I mean, it's going to be.
Columbus is only a couple hours from 3 hours from Indianapolis.
So there's going to be a lot of people there both ways. But I think they're. I don't want to say they're going to be hungrier than Ohio State, but I think the fact that this game would be in Indiana and be such a statement game, I would go if they met with IU. Big Glenn.
I've been keeping an eye on the ticket sales for the Big Ten championship game, and they're usually around the $100 range. These bad boys right now are in the $300 range, so everybody is buying them up from IU, which tells me that it will be mostly IU fans. Like, it'll be 60-40. It won't be like anything crazy like 70-30. It'll be mostly IU fans because this would be their first time in the Big Ten title game ever.
I don't think, Glenn, I don't think it'll be 70-30. I think it'd be lucky to be 60-40.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure it'd be that. I think it'd be close 50-50. I think Ohio State they've got a massive.
I know they do. I've been saying, with it being our first time ever, I think that I would give us a slight advantage in that way. I do, to answer your question, though, I do think IU would get it.
But that's one thing we do need to think about. Being first time ever, and I mean, I don't know if it's the first time they've ever been in a Big Ten championship game, but if they had been in one before, it's been a long time. And Ohio State's been there many times, so that the Ohio State would have a slight advantage there. But I still think IU can get the job done. Chris?
I like IU, and that's no disrespect to Ohio State. Ohio State's real good. I think it's going to be a great game when we do get to play here in a few weeks. But the reason I go with IU is defense. Ohio State has a good defense, but I think IU is a little more talented on the defensive front than Ohio State is, and I think our offense is capable of scoring just as many or more points than their offense. I think last year, being the first year there, maybe we got a little overwhelmed when we first got to play that big game against Ohio State, and we started out. A lot of people forget, we ended up getting blown out. But if you watch the first half of that game, IU was in that game. Ohio State couldn't move the ball, and then we had that big mistake. The momentum turned, and we could never get it back. Well, then this year we got a chance to play a big game like that in Oregon, where Ohio State ain't even been able to win, and we went in there and we controlled the game. We were more ready for the moment. And I agree, Day's a great coach, but a lot of people don't understand this about Signetti. He's won championships everywhere he's coached. When he was at IUP,
Google it.
They won the national championship. He went to James Madison. Yes, it was FCS. He won the national championship there, made James Madison's program so good that they got moved from the FCS up to Division I. And then he had them in a bowl game their first year in Division I, and that's when he left and came to IU. So the moment's not going to be too big for him, and I think he knows how to get his team prepared for the big games like that. So yeah, I like IU, and full disclosure, I'm a big IU fan too. So,
I'm home.
But even taking that out of it, just from the eye test, watching these teams play, I think IU is just as good as Ohio State is. So it's going to be a fun game to watch. I'm trying to get to it.
I got one caveat to this that I want to put in. I just looked at Indiana's schedule. I looked at Ohio's schedule. And again, I'm not trying to knock these guys because Ohio is the champion. And I know how good Signetti is. We all know how good Signetti is. And John Day, or Rob Day, whatever the fuck, Ryan Day, whatever the fuck his name is.
No, Jim Day.
My problem with y'all schedules, when I look at the SEC schedule, the SEC plays harder schedules. They just do. Go back and look at Texas. Texas plays like Georgia, Vandy, A&M. I mean, and I'm just using Texas as an example. Not that I'm trying to. I'm just saying. It just when I look at y'all schedules and I look at the SEC schedule, they're not as brutal.
How's it not as brutal?
Okay, well, okay. Glad you asked. Let's take a look. Now, Ohio, be quiet. They played Texas, which was 1, Illinois, which is 17, and Michigan, which is 21st. Those are the 3 teams that they played the entire year. Okay. Then you go. I'm not gonna pick up yours, but you. So let me go to IU real quick.
No, I want to hear this. I want to hear Yvonne at the SEC schedule.
Okay, that's fine. No, I was just trying to give you I was just setting the stage. But okay, that's fine. Okay, well then let's just take Texas just as an example, and then we'll go to Bama and Georgia. We'll take those. Those are the top 3 or 2 out of the top 3, I should say. So let me go pull up. Missouri, Oregon, Iowa, Syracuse, Vanderbilt, Wake Forest. Okay, here's Alabama. I'm gonna pull up Alabama's schedule. So you look at Alabama. Let me pull up their full schedule, and they played. Now, these are back-to-backs. So you got Georgia, Vandy, Mizzou on October the 11th. And Chris, I don't know if their first-string quarterback was out of that or not at that point.
Yeah, the first string went out first game of the year. It was the second-string quarterback, but they played well with the second.
Regardless, let's say he was there, though. Let's just assume he was there. So you got number 5, Georgia, number 16, Vandy, number 14, Missouri, number 11, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, number 12, Oklahoma. That's their schedule. You gonna tell me?
Hold on.
Let me finish it now, because when I turn the phone up and hit mute. Are you going to tell me for 1 minute that your schedules on either one of those 2 schools is heavier than that, or even equal to the heaviness of that schedule? That's all I'm asking. I'm gonna go mute.
Okay, so what you just said, Alabama, which played probably one of the toughest schedules this year.
Yeah.
They played 5 ranked teams. Ohio State played 3 ranked teams. Not too big of a difference. It's 2 games. Other thing is, everybody wants to talk about how strong that schedule is. I think a lot of it is you guys are overrating the SEC, because look at the Big Ten. There's Iowa, all these other teams that are ranked. They're trying to get in, but guess what? They can't beat Indiana or Ohio State. It's not my fault that Vanderbilt and Texas and these teams are beating up on each other. I don't mean that they're better than these other teams because they're beating each other. To me, that means there's more parity in the SEC. The Big Ten, there's more dominance.
Yeah.
Maybe. My thing is
how many ranked teams has Texas played and beat this year? I can't hear nothing you're saying.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. Even when I'm not muted, you don't hear it, so it's okay. What's the temperature? I'm kidding. I'm fucking with you. Okay, so I'm going to give you the Ohio game, but you only got us by a touchdown, and we had a hold on.
How many ranked teams have you played and beat this year?
Oh, okay. So that's Vanderbilt, and I forgot the other one we beat. Because most of our ranked games are towards the end. We still got to play A&M, and we got A&M and Georgia coming up. So right now, I would say ranked. We've beaten Georgia, Oklahoma and Vanderbilt.
So you have the same amount of rank.
I think Oklahoma was ranked.
You have the same amount of rank. You beat. Well, actually, we beat 3 ranked teams this year. So IU's beat more ranked teams than Texas has.
But I think you're coming from a perspective.
Wait a minute. But our schedule is a lot weaker. Okay.
See,
it
Jay,
is a weaker schedule. It really honestly is.
Well, I agree with you on Alabama. I think Alabama, like Chris said, got one of the strongest schedules in the league. I don't think Texas is much stronger than IU. I think it's pretty close. And they do play some teams at the end. I understand what you're saying. Same thing with Vandy. Same thing with Georgia, Mississippi. I think they're fairly close. I do think Alabama. But another thing you got to remember, Vanderbilt and Missouri started the season. I'm talking about wasn't seen as ranked teams. They came in and played themselves into being ranked, and that's why I think there's a lot of parity. There's definitely a lot more parity. The overall SEC overall is a better league than the Big Ten overall, as far as more top team, more pair. I mean, there's 7, 8, 9 teams in the SEC that are pretty strong teams. And Big Ten, I'm gonna say maybe 4. That I consider fairly strong. So, of course, Penn State taking that big hit. I mean, a lot of people thought, everybody thought Penn State was going to be in there. So that kind of changed perspective, but they're not. So this is the way it is. But I think SEC is a better conference. I won't personally, I won't argue that. I don't think that they play. I don't think Texas. I do think Alabama plays as good a schedule. It'd be hard to find anybody that plays a tougher schedule than what Alabama's played this year.
Hey, Gonzo, man, you know what we should call Jay? Jay Fine Mom.
Fucking like you. Just kidding. I love you, Glenn. No, but okay, one more time. So then you look at Georgia, right? This is Georgia's schedule. They got Tennessee at 15, Alabama at 17. They lost to Alabama by 3. Then they got Kentucky, Auburn, number 5, Ole Miss, and then they got Florida, and then they got Texas at 11 and Georgia Tech at 17 to close out the season. What I'm saying is every SEC team, even Texas, plays at least 5 medium to high ranked teams. Now, you're telling me, well, we got tougher teams, but I'm saying, look at the schedule. Take out the wins and losses. What is a more brutal schedule to get through? Regardless, if Texas gets in the playoffs, or if we even get close to the top 5, given what we've gone through in terms of our transition of a quarterback and our strength of schedule, that says something. I'm sorry. I look at Indiana's schedule, and yeah, you got a couple of teams in there that are going to give you fits, but your road to the playoffs isn't as hard as our road. It just isn't. I know you're going to say it's not, but in my opinion, what I'm looking at, it is.
Okay,
to me.
I'll send you a box of tissues. It'll be all right.
and I like Charmin because I have sensitive skin.
That
one ply shit don't get it done. I need at least 2 or 3 ply tissue paper.
I'll be sure to autograph a box for you.
My thing is,
and there's going to be a thing. We beat, say IU beats Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, then they're just going to come up with another excuse why IU don't deserve to be there. So it'd be all right.
Especially I'll
tell you this. If I'll be honest with you, if IU gets a national championship, I will give them props because then you're actually going against them.
I'll tell you this right now. Yeah. IU, Texas, neutral field. I'm picking IU every time.
I'd pick IU too.
This year.
No, I'm telling you right now. I'd pick IU. No. I would pick IU too. I would.
You know what's funny?
I think Texas is still working on that defense. I don't think Texas's defense is quite where it needs to be a contender for the national title. I just don't. And I think Arch Manning is coming into his own. I think you're seeing the evolution of Arch Manning when you saw that Vanderbilt game. He's starting to kind of pick up the rhythm now. So I think I'm looking at next year for Arch. I think next year I think it's going to be Arch's breakout, and then I think
the biggest problem with college football is there is no balance in the scheduling. So every team plays a different schedule.
Right.
So it's always been like that. It's always going to be like that.
Oh, sure.
That's why people that just go by rankings or this team's from this conference, you really don't know what's going on in college football unless you watch the game.
Yeah.
You want to know how good a team is, you got to watch them and go by what you see. You can't just go by rankings and a schedule. Not in college football.
And you know, Gonzo, wasn't
it's
that
not
long?
like these other leagues like the NFL where it's a more balanced schedule where everybody plays everybody for the most part. It's not like that in college.
Well, I think the best point, I think the best illustration of what you're saying was, and me and Tony have talked about this, that if you look at the way the season started, how many of those teams are even remotely in the top 5? I think Ohio's still there. I think maybe it's just Ohio. Has everybody else been replaced, I think, outside of Ohio in the initial?
Penn State was there. Clemson was there. One Florida State at one point ranked pretty high. Not Florida State, maybe Florida, somebody.
Florida, Miami.
Yeah, Florida, Miami. A lot of them
And they're not even there anymore.
And you know, Gonzo, it wasn't that long ago that Ball State used to be on our non-conference schedule for the longest time, you know, so.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's move on. This is an SEC game. Let's see. And I'm going to go to Chris first and then Jay and then Big Glenn and then me. Who wins? Because I think this could end up being the SEC Conference Championship game. Possible. Alabama and Texas A&M. Who wins this game? Who wins this game, Chris?
God, that's a hard one.
Chris went away. Okay. Okay, Chris is back.
Sorry, what was the question?
Who wins? Alabama, Texas A&M.
Alabama. I think Alabama's a little. I'm not going to say quite a bit better, but I think they're the better football team. I think Texas A&M's a little overrated myself. Their big win this year is against Notre Dame. And guess how they won that game? On a fumble in overtime. So it wasn't like they dominated Notre Dame. And a lot of people don't even think Notre Dame should be in the playoff because they play a weak schedule in this. And I think they forget that the team that's ranked number 3 beat Notre Dame by 3 points. Notre Dame's a good football team, but everybody wants to talk about the Texas A&M schedule. Where's the tough teams they've played so far? They're getting ready to play a little bit of tougher teams the next couple of weeks. But, I mean, like I said, Alabama's been tested, and I like Alabama a lot in that matchup.
See, okay, Jay, you go. Because I said Jay would go next. Go, Jay.
No, go ahead and go. No, you go, Tony.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. I'm looking at something anyway.
I don't disagree with you, except I watched almost the whole game of Alabama and South Carolina. And it was at South Carolina. I thought Alabama looked like horseshit. I didn't think they looked very good that game. And it could have just been a bad game. I like Texas A&M. I like that coach. I like what he's doing there. I think they would beat Alabama. I'm not sold on Alabama's defense. I'm sold on Alabama's offense, but I'm not sold on their defense. I do like
the Texas A&M coach Elko. He's doing a good job there, and I like their program. I just think Alabama's a little bit better right now.
Okay, Jay.
Yeah. I agree with what Chris is saying. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I mean you're right. I mean the big game for A&M still to come is going to be when they play Texas at the end of the season, and then we're going to find out who's made out of what. Honestly, at that point, but you're right. They have not played the biggest of schedules, so there is some doubt there to legitimacy of how good this A&M team really is until they played some tougher competitions. And so I think because of that, and I know Alabama and what they've done with Georgia and things of that nature, I'm going to roll with Alabama on that one, just because, quite honestly, I just like I said, I haven't seen the credibility side of it because of the teams that A&M has played. So I'm going to go with Alabama.
And Glenn, before you go, I'll tell you who might be the best team in the SEC. Honestly, I think it might be Mississippi. Ole Miss, but they blew that game to Georgia. I mean, they flat just choked that game away in the fourth quarter because they was kicking their ass. Mississippi might be the best team in the SEC. They really might be. Big Glenn?
to jump on that
Hey.
real quick. Jump on
Yeah,
that
go
real
ahead.
quick. I think it was last night or the night before that. I was telling you, Lane Kiffin don't get enough respect for how good of a football coach that dude is.
Yep. Big Lynn.
Texas A&M is going to win this game on Saturday. So
Okay.
with the game being at Texas A&M, I think the
No,
Crimson Tide.
no, Big Lynn. Just so you know, this is Texas A&M and Alabama if they played. They're not playing. They're not playing this weekend.
I don't know why I was thinking that, but I think
Okay.
A&M would win.
I think you and Jay had a smoke session before.
I guess so.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay,
listen,
guys.
I don't know. Out of the four of us, I think me and Glenn probably got the most disabilities here. Not to say y'all guys don't have disabilities, but I think our disabilities are more mental, where I think your disabilities are more physical. Not that Glenn doesn't have physical disabilities.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys. My next question is: right now, in your opinion, this is your opinion. Who's the best NFL quarterback right now in 2025? Don't go by the past. Don't go by what they did in 24, 23, 22. Right now, who is the best quarterback in the NFL? I will go first. In my opinion, it's Matthew Stafford. I like what he's done this year. I think he's done it quietly. I don't think he gets enough credit. Big Glenn, your thoughts?
Stafford.
Okay. Jay.
I like what Stafford's doing, but I really like how Sam Darnold has resurrected his career, and I really like the way Baker Mayfield attacks the quarterback position. Right now, just because I like tough quarterbacks, I like passionate quarterbacks. I'm actually gonna roll with. I want to roll with Baker, but he just hasn't done enough yet. So I'm gonna roll with Darnold on this one.
Okay. Chris, who's the best right now in 2025? Who's the best NFL quarterback?
Yeah, you stole mine, Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I've felt that way the last couple of years.
Yeah.
If you watch that dude throw the ball, he can make every throw. He's tough as hell. Yeah, I've always been a big Stafford fan, and I would go with Stafford. But to Jay's point, Sam Darnold is balling right now. Sam Darnold should be, in my opinion, in the lead, right there in the lead for the MVP, and he's not even really getting talked about.
Yeah.
If you watch that Seattle Seahawks offense, he's not dinking and dunking. That dude's making some throws, so definitely have to give Sam Darnold some respect.
One thing on that Sam Darnold too, Gonzo, is now that was before they got Rashid Shaheed, and now that they have him and the amount of speed that comes with that guy, I think that's going to open up the offense for the run game, and I think that's going to give Darnold another big time receiver to throw to. I'm curious to see where he goes from here.
Okay, guys, got three more questions here for the hot seat. This next one, we're gonna let Jay go first, and we're gonna let Glenn go second. Right now, would Dallas have a better record if they had never traded Parsons? Would they have a better record right now if Parsons was on that team, or do you think they'd still be in a tough situation? Jay.
I absolutely do think they'd have a better record. One of the biggest things that Parsons took with him was the identity of that Dallas Cowboys defense. When you lose the edge rush and you lose the versatility that in which you can use a guy like Parsons, that is a big loss. Matter of fact, they weren't last in defense like they were now. Which I think now the Bengals actually took that from them. But no, I think when Parsons left, a lot of that defense went with them, and defense wins championships. So yeah, I think they would have a better record with him without them versus without him.
Big Glenn.
I think they do, but not much more.
Okay. I think because I think their defensive backs still suck, but I think with Parsons being on that team, that helped covers it up some. I don't know if the record would be completely turned around and they'd be in first place in the division, but I do think that their record would be a little bit better at least. Chris, what do you think?
What's the Cowboys' record right now?
3-5-1.
If they had Parsons, they might be 500. I don't see them making that big a difference because their secondary is just so bad right now. But I mean, he might help him a little bit when he did get to the quarterback here and there. But their biggest problem is you got to get to a 3rd and long, and they have trouble getting teams to 3rd and long where you can really cut your pass rush loose. So yeah, I think maybe they might have won maybe one more game so far if he was there, but I don't see it like it'd be one maybe 3 or 4 more games.
Okay. Next question, guys. Who do you believe in more right now in the NFL between these 4 teams? The Broncos, the Steelers, the Buccaneers, or Seattle?
Oh,
Jay,
shit.
out of those 4 teams, who do you believe in the most?
Seattle.
Okay.
I think Seattle has a great defense. I think they're like number 5. And now that they've added another really great piece to that offense, that improves that offense. And so, matter of fact, I mean, there's only a fractional difference between them and the Rams, even in their own division. So, yeah, I would go Seattle. That's who I believe in.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jay. I like the running game. They got 2 running backs. They got receivers. They got a pretty good defensive line. I think as long as the offensive line holds up, I think they're a team that could possibly win the NFC. So I believe more than Seattle. I like the Buccaneers a lot, but they just had so many injuries. The Broncos are on the right direction for sure. Steelers, I'm not sure. I mean, their defense looked great this last game, but I mean, what are you going to get the rest of the season out of that? So yeah, I believe in Seattle more. Chris?
Yeah, Seattle. Seattle's to me either the first or second best team in the NFC right now.
Yeah,
I like them and I like the Rams a whole lot. And another thing I like about Seattle is with this new coach, they've only lost 1 road game.
right.
From last year to this year. Like they know how to win on the road, and then they got a good home field advantage there in Seattle as well. I'd have Denver. I'd have Denver out of the 4 teams you gave me. Denver would be the next team that I would trust more, just because the way they've been playing. They have a great defense, and like I said, Knicks has been playing more consistent offensively. The Broncos have, and then my next one would be Tampa Bay. I'd have Pittsburgh at the bottom of those 4, trust-wise for me. Tampa Bay would have a chance to maybe pass the Broncos if they were fully healthy. But out of them 4 teams, I think the Broncos and the Seattle are the best 2.
Okay. Big Lynn?
I think Seattle has a chance to be in the Super Bowl. I really do.
This question needed the Joe Hendry option. Anyways, it's got to be Seattle. I mean, look what the hell he did to freaking Washington on Sunday.
Okay. This is the last question, guys, and we'll get out of here. Last question for the hot seat. In your opinion, don't worry about what everybody else says. Your opinion. If you, in your opinion, if you was going to name an MVP of the NFL right now, who would be your league MVP? I'm gonna go to Chris because I think he's gonna have the same answer I am. So, Chris, who would be your league MVP right now?
Jonathan Taylor.
I think he's the best player in the league. I really do. I don't think he'll get it, of course, because they get it to a quarterback.
It'll go to a quarterback, and in my opinion, if you're going to give it to a quarterback right now, it'd be Sam Darnold.
I think Stafford
is who I would give it to if I was going to give it to a quarterback. Yeah. But no, I think Jonathan Taylor should be the MVP of the league. You look at his touchdown numbers, his yardage, just everything he's doing, receiving. Like, I think he should be the MVP. But if I know it's usually a quarterback award, and if I was going to give it to a quarterback right now, it'd be Sam Darnold.
I can't disagree with you on Darnold, but I got mixed feelings. Darnold and Stafford's really close. I think I might go with Stafford if I was giving it to a quarterback. But I agree. I think Jonathan Taylor is the best player in the league right now, and that's right now at this moment. Jay.
Yeah. You know, if it wasn't for the 6 interceptions that Dak has, because he's tied for 62nd place. So
don't do it.
No, I'm not. Calm down. Let me finish my sentence. But you know, you look at Dak, he's 4th in yards, he's 3rd in touchdowns, and he's 3rd in QBR. I mean, it's very hard. I mean, the only thing that really holds him back is his interceptions. I know a lot of people will say a lot of bad things about Dak, but when you look at Dak in the regular season, he is, he does do very, very well. But no, I can't pick Dak though, because I just said a second ago about Darnold, and we talked about best quarterback. So it is going to be Sam Darnold for me.
Okay. And Big Glenn.
Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I've been watching his games all year, man, and yeah, but we know that unless he breaks the rushing record that Adrian Peterson set when he won the MVP, I don't think they're going to give it to the running back.
I think the only reason the running back doesn't get the MVP, and again, Jonathan Taylor is very well deserving of it. Trust me, I believe that. He's an amazing specimen all the way around. But the quarterback is just your general. He's the guy. We don't talk about running backs when we talk about, what gets you there. It's always the quarterback that we talk about. And so because he's the main line and distributor of the rock, you got to give it to him.
But the sad part is of all the answers we give, I don't think any of them guys are in the top 8 right now. If you look at the odds, none of these guys are in the top 8 or 10. I think Taylor's way back. Darnold, I don't even know if Darnold's on the list.
That's weird to me.
That Stafford's way back. I think right now, I think seeing the thing. I think they got Mahomes, and the top 2 guys, Buffalo and Kansas City, 2 quarterbacks right now. And right now, don't get me wrong. They're 2 very great quarterbacks, but as of this year, they're not the 2 best quarterbacks in the league. They're just not.
It's not a history award; it's a yearly award. And right now,
those 2 been mid all year. You know how I know is because I got Josh on both of my fantasy leagues, and he's been mid up until this last Sunday. So,
right.
All right, guys, that's all I got. You guys got anything else before we get out of here?
No.
Just one thing. Do you guys got any wrestling shows coming up tonight?
Yep, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, yeah. Face or Heel Pro Wrestling Talk at 8 o'clock tonight. Check that out. Talking a lot of pro wrestling, WWE and stuff. So come on with us.
Hey, are y'all got? I just saw that again. You guys are the experts. But I just saw that is CM Punk the champion now?
Yes, he won it last Saturday night on Saturday night's main event.
Until Seth Rollins comes back from a fake injury, Yeah.
Plans got changed. That Seth Rollins tried to do a crazy move. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. It's called a coast to coast. It's from one corner to another corner, and usually people do it like a drop kick, feet first. He decided he's going to do it head first, and he launched himself from one side to the other. And of course, he came down on that shoulder, and I think he tore a rotator cuff or something. Had to have surgery, and he's out for about 6 months. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know how he thought that landing was going to somehow turn out good, because there was no way to protect yourself doing that. And I think he found that out. But yeah, he's out for a while.
I saw a meme earlier, and it was talking about the ages of the wrestlers now versus the wrestlers back in the Rock's age.
Yeah,
and it was weird because the wrestlers then were like 32 was the average age when Rock was with it, and now it looks like the average age now is 42. So wrestlers, I didn't realize that 40 some odd years of age, they're still in that good in shape to do what they do.
Well, there's a couple of reasons for that, Jay. The one reason is that I think 40 is the new 30. I mean, with the health and everything, and a lot of these guys too, back in that day, it was starting to change a little bit, but there was a lot more drugs and alcohol. Now these guys don't do that. These guys play video games. They if they're on the road, they play video. Right. And the biggest change is the schedules. Back then, you wrestled 300 to 330 times a year. Now they're only wrestling about 200. So it's been cut almost half or a third how many times they wrestle. So I think that helps a lot. I mean, pretty much all they wrestle now is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They have Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Thursdays off. So it helps the body. And some of those guys don't wrestle either. They may be on the Friday show, but they may not be on the Monday show. And some of them don't even wrestle Saturday, Sundays because they're not even going on the road as much. So it's more TV, matches than they do a Christmas tour. They do an overseas tour still, but they're not doing near many regular house shows. So their bodies have a lot more time to recuperate. So I think that's another reason. That they're doing that, and that's also another reason that they charge, I think, higher ticket prices too. They got less shows, so they're charging higher ticket prices. But the other big key to that is because people pay it. If people quit paying it, right now they're averaging. WWE's averaging per show. If you take all the shows and you average them out all together, they're averaging over 12,000 people a show.
Damn.
So that's pretty good. And it just came out for the third quarter of this year. WWE was up 23%.
Yeah, I saw that.
They was up 23%.
Not down 23%, up 23%.
Yeah, they was up 23% in profit. WWE was. Now TKO together, who owns WWE and UFC and everything, they were down. UFC was down. UFC's down 8%, but WWE was up. They made over $421 million this year. No, that quarter. That's just that quarter, Jay. Just for the third quarter. That's not counting the second quarter and the first quarter and the fourth quarter still to come. So WWE's still doing.
How much? What was the number? So you said over 400 mil.
421 million for the third quarter.
So that's over 1.6 billion for the year.
Yeah, that would be. Oh yeah.
God, what a time to be alive. I didn't realize wrestling has definitely come a long, long way since the days of Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. I know they made it pretty paying off me this year between Rumble and WrestlePalooza.
Yeah, UFC was down 8%, and I think they only made 322 million for the third quarter, and they were down 8%. So
wow, that's crazy. All right, we're gonna get out of here. We already kind of gone over our time, but we appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. Always good to have Gonzo back in the fold. I know he's still a little bit under the weather, but it's good to have him here. We have been missed. And until next time, make sure you check out Face the Hills, correct? Tonight, you said at 8?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. So make sure, is that Central or Eastern? I'm assuming that's Eastern.
Eastern.
So 7 Central, 8
Pacific.
Eastern.
No, it's not Pacific.
You hush your mouth over there. Make sure you give those guys a like and subscribe on GSR Gonzo Sports Room. They will definitely appreciate any subscribes you guys throw their way and likes as well. Also for Elite Sports Entertainment Network on our YouTube page. We certainly appreciate it. And until tomorrow, y'all have a good one. We outie.